brand for this show.
Yeah,
it's on Adam's channel.
It's absolutely fine because Duchess is always late.
Fuck you, I'm not always late.
He is. He's always late or in last place. Because Duchess is always late.
Fuck you, I'm not always late.
Who's got YouTube on? Late or in last place. Duchess is always late.
Yeah, that's me. My bad. I heard it starting to echo. I was like, "Oh God, no."
That was actually mine.
Oh, Duchess is fucked off again. My God. Right, we ready?
Yep.
Do you reckon Duchess will make it back in time?
Yeah, who cares?
Do you know, I forgot how fucking short that intro is now. I'm just sitting there like, I've got another minute yet. It's a long one.
Wow, really? I'm sorry that clone, that Sloan is such a fucking clown and doesn't know how to stream.
Oh, man.
Welcome back to another Codename
As I
Wired.
said, mess ups on this show are on brand. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a show on Adam's channel.
Yeah, exactly. So Adam fucked us again. So you can now blame Sloan. So that's fine. But welcome back to another Codename Wired. We're glad that you're all here with us. Obviously, you can see that there's a fourth person with us today. So say hello to Twiztid Timmy, is the man behind those fantastic fucking coils. Timmy, feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself.
How's it going, guys? I'm Twiztid Timmy. I make coils, and yeah, that's really about all I got to say. Yeah.
Love the spool holder over your head, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I got another one above me. I originally had just the one, and then had to get a second one. It got a little bit out of control. I'm sure you get late.
Yeah,
right
here with you. So before we get too far into anything and we get into the actual meat and potatoes of this show, we're going to go through our buffets. So what are you guys all looking on? Who wants to start?
We'll get the guest go first. So go on, Timmy.
All right, I got the Pulse AIO right now. I got a bunch of other stuff in rotation, but that's just been in my pocket and on me all day today. It's usually my good beater to take around because if I lose it or anything bad happens to it, it's not too much to replace.
Yeah, is that the drip tip off of the Berserker?
How did you? Wow, dude, great eye. That is in fact the drip tip off the Berserker.
It's a good drip tip, bro. I love that.
It is, man. I fell in love with it. I feel like the setup altogether looks almost a little dorky, kind of like a walkie-talkie or something. Like if someone picked this up and didn't know whether like hello.
It's like late 80s.
Yep, I love it, bro. I love it. Who wants to go next?
Go on, Jay.
All right. Hexome B3 Recoil Rebel on top, and that I got some of that it's supposed to be like a sour apple type mix thing I did a couple weeks ago. Then we're gonna go with another Hexome V3 Recoil Rebel, and in that I got a what is this again? Black currant shake. Again, did that like months ago or so on the other show I do. And then lastly, we're gonna go with billet box. And in that, we got a custard mix that I've been working on. That Mallory Gates gave me a challenge of go through my stuff, go through your stuff, see what we have in common, and see if you can make a mix out of that. And I don't know, it was nice. It was a fun blast kind of thing to do, just like on the spot. So I had fun with that. All right, whoever wants to go next here, because I don't know. Are we playing Duchess Goes Last?
Yeah.
Always. All right, then. I've got quite a bit out today. So we've got the OG Recoil on the workhorse, the absolutely beaten up heavy hitter. Inside that, we have some Kick It Root Down I have to smell it. The table's just become a mess. We have the Series Mech with the Axial Pro. Inside that, we've got some Country Fudge by Amatorium. We got the Ripsaw on the Suicide side, however you call that fucking thing. Inside that, we have some Sweet Nirvana, which is like a sherbet lemon. We have the Nightmare 25 on another one. I can't say what it is. That thing. Inside that, we have some Faust. We've got another one that I can't say, the Atemporal. Inside the sup box. Inside that, we have some Frank Connecticus, passion fruit and pineapple. And lastly, we got the billet box with the truss. And inside that, some cucumber cooler. That's me done.
So I've been using that all copper Kennedy 28 setup. I need to shine it up again because it looks like shit.
Yep.
So there's that. Still using Seafoods liquid, lemon soap. Dude, this thing is a banger. I love this liquid so much. Of course, still using that squad on top of the Separate Mech line. Got some blast off on the inside from Fountain. Right after that, got that new raspberry lemon cookie from Coils. And that's all inside that Arbiter 28 on top of the Nostromo Death Wish box, the NH250. And then I decided that I'm going to stop building coils and become a reviewer. So you're welcome. This is now my review. We're using the Freemax. Max is Max. It's a dumb fucking name. Freemax fuck themselves. This shit is not removable, so there's no 510 pin. The flavor on it's really good. The battery life is fantastic. And the aesthetics are all right. You're welcome. No, but on the inside of that, Blood Orange Tangleberry from Marketplace. Fantastic, dude. I love this fucking. It is so good. It's so good. And that's me done. I don't have anything else.
Why you got a Freemax tank?
Oh, I got this in my boosh box, bro.
Oh, I think that was more the question we was all waiting for. What you were saying?
Yeah. Okay, so why is Duchess using a sub-ohm tank? Because I got it in a fucking boosh box.
There you go.
So
And it's actually really good, to be honest. This fucking 0.2 coil is fantastic. The only thing is that Freemax needs to give us like a magnetic top because you can't remove this the silver shit. So they need to give us like a magnetic top for RBAs, so you could just like put an RBA fucking pot on here.
A little adapter or something. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you're stuck with using this fucking stupid little pod shit that they give you.
Pigeonhole into it.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, it's not bad. It's good.
cool.
Anytime I see a pod system, I was like, is it rebuildable?
No.
Does it have an RBA?
Yeah, I wish it had an RBA because obviously, like, one of my coils would be in there. But I mean, for being a sub-ohm, this actually isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's me. Oh, look, Adam froze.
Adam froze.
Oh, there.
No, I'm just standing still. I'm waiting for Dutch to say something.
No, I'm good. I got nothing left.
Oh, is that you done?
Yeah,
All right, well-
I already said that's me done.
We decided to start having our first guest on because this is obviously season 2 of Codename Wired, and we thought we would bring some talented coil builders on to discuss.
Because us three aren't.
But Duchess comes last all the time.
Wow.
I don't know. It's been 2-3 weeks.
Mate,
still-
people are still saying shit. Fucking Surrock brought it up today. I didn't say fuck all, and he brought it up yesterday, and I
He
thought,
brought
you
it
know
up
what?
It's all right. Ern said it earlier. He was like, "Oh, I bet you the delay is that we're still waiting on Duchess."
I'm still on. I will moderate, and you guys have a head-to-head, but you know.
Well, Sean's called me out, and I've accepted it.
Oh shit!
But is he gonna have to build a coil too?
No,
No.
it's just an install.
Just an install.
But
That's gonna be fantastic, though.
he'll be all right. Another 1:30 in the morning install, which will be great fun. At least I won't have to go in the garden.
It'll be much easier for you though, like in the long run, just because like you're not having to build anything. You can just stay at that desk and install something as fast as possible.
Yeah, it's not going to be as bad. But I
I'm
know
having
I
to
can't.
run into
Obviously,
the
can't.
shed.
I can't see. Yeah, fucking having to go out in the garden at 1:30 in the morning. There's a
And make
lot of
a bunch of
animals in the
fucking noise
garden.
and shit.
I'm surprised the neighbours didn't come knocking on
Dude,
the door.
you got UK animals in the garden. You don't
Badgers
the
are
shit
dangerous.
we have
Mate.
here.
That's what you got to remember. Badgers are dangerous.
You got UK badgers, not honey badgers and shit roaming
Definitely
around.
not honey badger.
Anyway,
I will not be
before we-
leaving if this.
Before we get too far off, Jesus fuck. Welcome to Codename Wired, guys.
I live in tangents.
Yeah.
But
Me too.
I've actually got a couple of questions prepared to get us started
Yeah.
because I know that
Yeah.
we'll end up just tangenting again, which is fine because it's what always happens. But straight off the bat, what got you into building?
The first thing that got me into building, let me think. I got on social media with vaping. After I had already been vaping for many years, I had started with like sub-ohm tanks and, eventually moved on to RDAs, but only really used round wire, maybe used a drill to twist up wire together. And I had no idea that there was anything else until getting onto social media and starting to see really more of the performance on mechanical mods, where people would dry fire their mod and you would just see this thing explode like fireworks. And I kept wondering why mine doesn't do that. I had no idea. I would try going lower in ohms to, get more vapor, but there was no crack, large amount of vapor production. And that got me on the hunt of trying to figure out how to get that going. I ordered from a person that my buddy was using. I think they were more active on maybe Facebook, not as much as Instagram. And, while I was waiting for the order to come in, I kind of just fell down a rabbit hole of like fuse Claptons, starting that first, realizing that the little swivel that I had was just doing it no justice. They were just twisting up and going to shit. I kept on keeping on for about a month until my order arrived. I had to reach out to the people and let them know, hey man, I don't want to rush or anything, but want to check in on that order. And they had unfortunately forgot about me or fell at the bottom of the pile, something like that. So they did eventually get it out to me, but within that month of waiting, I fell in love with building my own. And of course, I used theirs when they came in and kind of bounced between using theirs and using stuff that I had built for myself. But that really just started it all right there.
So did you like while you were in this like beginning period, waiting for the wire to show up and whatnot, did you have any like inspirations that you watched that kind of like helped you out like along the way?
The main one I could mention would be I believe it's Sherlock Ohms was originally on YouTube. I don't know if he's still doing anything on there, and that was one that I watched and just was blown away by how quickly he was producing them. He just had a fast swivel and he would run through his builds, and it was like mind blowing because I'm sitting there just face with the wire right up against it, going at like 1 RPM per minute, just trying to take my time, and everything wasn't really coming out good. And I saw how quickly he could pump them out, and just a lot of different what is he doing? Corrugated SFCs and just really mind blowing stuff that got me like, okay, I want to go deeper into this. I need to figure out how to get 3 cores to stay straight without collapsing, and just all the basics of that. I wish I could remember the video that I watched that explained how to do aliens, because that one, the whole concept of just the way the wire waved on it, I had no idea how to recreate that. I found the video on, just basic tutorials on aliens explaining that you're going to Clapton it, then decore it, then stretch it. And really didn't listen to anything besides that point, as well as him saying that you just really need to have Claptons and fuse Claptons down basically with your eyes closed before even giving an attempt at an alien. but I just can't remember who that video was exactly.
I wish I'd have seen that video prior.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar. Because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there was Homeboy
there was
Josh.
so many too that when you went to go
Yeah.
look it up, there was just a smorgasbord of different choices. So I just clicked on probably the shortest one that they had available.
Yeah, because I don't know about these two, but I know for me, like I completely skipped over making Claptons. I went straight to aliens.
Really?
I went straight to Fuse Claptons because I just didn't have the patience for Claptons. It's just no.
I skipped over them, and then I watched Turk. Actually, a lot of the things I do now, I learned out of the Turk video off of Pristine Builds. So if no one out there has actually watched it, you can head over to Pristine Builds YouTube, and Mike M. Turk will have a tutorial on there for making aliens.
I think it was Sherlock Holmes who convinced me to go out and buy one of those PVC pipes. Thread the stretch decor through.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
things don't get snagged.
Yeah, I've still got it in the garage. I used that for the longest time, and then went from stretch to no stretch, just because obviously going from 2 coils to like 4 at a time, trying to stretch out enough decor for 4 coils. I don't have that sort of space, so then I had to go down the whole learn the no stretch method. But you started on the no stretch, didn't you, Duchess? And then you went to the stretch. You went backwards.
Yeah, I learned how to stretch after. I learned like in the middle of like learning how to alien.
So do you stretch or no stretch, Timmy?
I'm a stretch. I've tried the no stretch and maybe after some time, but right now it's just not for me. So I stretch, and then on all of my 3 and 3-core and up, I still use the key rings or some sort of a core holder. I've seen a lot of people who can do a whole stick without a core holder, and I've made attempts here and there.
That's me. I do my.
That's these two assholes right here.
God damn. God, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, man, because I've seen some of the how quickly it can go, and I'm like, fuck, I'm over here just burning through time, man.
Yeah, I started with Lego pieces. That's what got me down.
Yeah.
But see, I tried the whole paper clips, but then I don't think I was clipping them on properly because I was finding as I was building, I was sort of like dodging as they were like flying up. It just got too dangerous for me. So I stole a load of Lego pieces off my nephew. And just use them.
See, I started on a data list actually, on like a 2-foot desk, and then like slowly over time, I just like started taking pieces away and like upgrading. And first thing to come was obviously a drill because I was like, "Fuck this fucking 50 RPM fucking drill that they give you. This is dumb."
Yeah, dude, that thing, I have that, still have that somewhere in a box, and yeah, man, a love-hate relationship with that because it really opened up the door for certain methods, kind of like you said, but really needed to build on top of it to get, anything good out of it. And by the time I was really liking it, I would realize, dude, this needs to go faster.
Yeah, 100%. So, Adam, what was your next question that you had? You said you had a lined up.
My next question was, what is you personally? What is your favorite ever coil you made that you enjoyed building and vaping?
Building and vaping, I would have to say the Fralians, Fralian V2. That Fralians and frame staples for me in the beginning was very hard and frustrating until I started to use the 28 gauge frames with the 0.3 ribbon on the center, and you use like a 6-core ribbon. And for some reason, with those specs, when I'm doing Fralians, I can slide my core holder down probably about 3/4 of the stick, and just yank real tight on my fuse wire, and it keeps everything in place much easier than like doing a 3-core or a 4-core alien. And then I really do love the performance that I get off of them as well. Flavor, crackle, everything.
Those Fralians are outstanding.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. I'm still trying to get down that ribbon wire.
Yeah, I can do it for the most part if I go real slow with it. But I have such a problem with keeping that ribbon while it's wrapping from not collapsing on its side.
Yeah.
Like and like stacking this way versus like stacking this way.
Yeah.
Right? That I just haven't been able to get it down. I can do the prep perfectly fine. Everything will look perfect. And then I go to start wrapping, everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Just fuck tons of glue for me. I've only just literally the last couple of weeks really put effort into ribbon wire and getting there slowly but surely. But for me, it's just very ragey.
Yeah.
I get so upset and angry because it looks perfect, and as you're wrapping it, you get enough just for one. You're like, oh, I can get one cut off. Fuck.
Yeah, the whole.
Yeah.
And then just staring at this giant leftover stick of trash, basically. Yeah.
Pretty much. So
the worst is when you make it all the way and then you go to wrap it, and for some reason something warps in there.
And everything starts to like go all crazy. I know exactly what you're talking about. Because you have this false hope with this finished stick, and you're all excited. Like, oh, here we go, and everything goes down the drain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 wraps in, and then everything goes. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Well, you get to the end and you wrap it and you take a picture and you realize that you put your ribbon in the wrong way, and it's all just sort of stacked on top. Like, that don't look right.
That's what I did. I made stitched Fralians, bro, with 0.3 and 28 frames, and it wasn't that much. It was like, I think I did like a 4-ply or some shit. I don't remember, but they looked beautiful. And then I finally took like a closer look at it, and Adam actually is the one that pointed it out, and he was like, "Your ribbon's in the wrong way," and I was like, "Motherfucker!"
Yeah, they were all laying flat across between the frames.
Yeah, they were laying flat across the frames instead of stacked the way they were supposed to be. And I was like, "Mother God damn it, bro!" All that work, everything went beautifully. Like no problems with wrapping the stitch or anything. Like everything was just beautiful. It was just moving right along. And then I found that out. And I was like, "Shit, well, what happens? I'll have to go back to it later."
Since I've been building, my eyes have got worse, and now I've had to wear glasses. And then you put the Ramella glasses over the top. You spend so long hunched over getting it, and you're like, oh, "This don't look right. This don't look right." Because when you've got them all stacked up next to each other, it looks like it could be either or side.
Yeah,
and you're just like, which one's my good eye? Let's have a better look at it. But no, I will get it down. I 100% will get it down because I'm nearly there. But it's I found it easier rather than doing like staples, like trying to do like staggers with ribbon between. I found that a lot easier than it is just like trying to stack 6 meters of ribbon frames and then just clapped in it. I found actually staggering them for me felt a lot better than just trying to run a Clapton. I don't know whether it's subconsciously when you're doing just normal Claptons or decals. I go lead foot and just put your foot down and just go. And then you forget that you've got ribbon wire and you're like, oh shit. The end looks like it's all fucking like this. And you're ducking because your ribbon wire's flapped off. And oh mate, it gets dangerous.
Yeah. I mean when you're spinning at 6,000 RPMs, of course it does.
Since Adam mentioned lead foot, so you still use traditional drills, or have you moved on to like lathe drills and like classic clouds or the style?
So I do have a classic clouds with the foot pedal, and that I really like that for certain types of builds, but others I find that I'll accidentally drop the foot too heavy and everything's going fine. And then, I press down too hard and everything just starts wobbling out of control. And like you said, your holders are flying off at you and stuff. I have another one that's kind of like self-made, I guess you could call it. I got it off of Amazon and pieced it together.
You have the one I do.
It probably the same thing, a little wood lathe drill. Yeah. And you got to take everything apart. I had a buddy do it. I'm not good with electronics, but he was able to hook that up to a PWM switch that has an on, off, reverse, and forward, and then the speed adjuster in there. That I love doing with just D-chord Claptons. I can just sit down and knock out like 50, 60 D-chord Claptons in a row. I've tried using it for aliens, but again, it seems like it would be better to use once I could get the key rings out of the picture. The core holders, I have to slow down and stop when I'm getting up to a core holder, slide it down. And when I go to start up again, the speed that I had originally gotten to, it you just end up getting like either a gap in the wire, an overwrap, or that begins the collapsing process. Like I hate
Or it
that.
mohawks out because you're not paying attention or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I'm doing anything that's, like a 3-core alien and up, I just use a DeWalt drill and have that on a little book that I have to the side of me. And I don't really have anything that's clamping. Yep. Yeah, there you go. I don't have anything that's clamping it in place. I just kind of wedge like a, pair of pliers underneath it to keep it kind of level, and then pull it real tight with my hand as I'm doing it. And I can feel when things are starting to go wrong. If my tension's too much, I can feel it trying to pull. If my tension's too light, I can see it starting to wobble a little bit. And then you just feel it. That's the best way I can describe it, is when it's all coming together, you just feel it, everything falling into place.
Yeah, 100%.
With those classic clouds pedals, what I've done, and it's really helped, I just got polystyrene, paint it just any color you want, and just shove it in there so you've got more of a tension, because it stops me doing lead foot.
Okay, that sounds like that might help a lot.
Because I've got such a bad lead foot. Because you thought I'd go a little bit more. The next thing you know, you're doing 6,000. With this, I just put, everything's just going mental. So I just got about this big, because you can lift the pedal all the way up, slide it down. I've done the top left-hand side away from all the wires. And just sit it on top, so you can just push down it. You'll hear it clicking and that, but that's absolutely fine, because it's just the polystyrene. And mate, I haven't had no issues with it since.
I think I might pick up on that. That sounds like it'll work a lot better.
Yeah, I just got a random bit of polystyrene from one of the packages that turned up.
Yeah.
Just paint it any colours, because obviously it starts to crumble otherwise.
Yeah.
I just painted whatever colour there was and just stuck it in there, and I've had no issues. So it might be something to think about.
Yeah. So when you finally got down the alien. At what point, like throughout this whole journey that you've had so far, did you finally decide that you wanted to kind of like branch out and like try other types of builds, whether it's like a 2-core staggered fuse Clapton or like for aliens or anything like that?
Pretty much immediately, because I started following different builders on Instagram mainly. At this point, I had a Facebook, but it was for personal friends and family. The Instagram that I started was 100% vape account, I guess you could call it. And so I started, I would go through the search feed, and if I found anybody that was building anything, basically, I would immediately follow them. Because it was just such great inspiration to be able to see new builds that I wanted to branch out and try out, but also seeing builds that I thought I kind of had down, and you'd see someone else's alien, or you see someone else's frame staple, and I'm like, theirs looks way better. It looks way cleaner. And that, take a picture of a look at mine compared to that and be like, okay, I got some work to do. I don't know exactly what to do yet to fix what's going wrong, but I can see my alien wire isn't, next to itself. It's got this big old gap, or I'm seeing other people's, not even just like 3-core fuse Claptons or frame staples, their fusing was just so smooth all the way down, where mine was kind of bunchy and you could see little frumps and humps all over the wire. When I first would make these coils at first glance, and I'd be all excited that I got it down packed, I would think, oh man, I did it. This is awesome. Until going and seeing somebody else's that they just knocked it out perfectly. But it wasn't discouraging. It was, like I said, it was an inspiration to be able to see all these different things, especially just the crazy stuff like inceptions and hedgehogs and the stitched stuff. I was just like, what is going on here? Because I'd never seen a video on like how to do it. And so I'm trying to wrap what I know about what little I knew about coil building around this crazy concept that I'm only seeing a visual picture of. And it was just so just mind blowing.
Yeah. I made everybody do hedgehogs, and they were fucking horrendous to make.
That episode where we were just saying "fuck you," Adam, the whole episode. That's all.
I mean, that was pretty much every episode. But I did put out in chat for anyone who wanted to ask some questions. So we've got a couple from chat that we're going to go ahead and ask. First one is from Suruk. You should be able to see it down below. But he wants to know, what kind of music do you listen to, or does it depend on what you're creating on what you listen to?
Really depends on the mood. If I was gonna pick like one, you might not have heard of it. It's DJ Screw, which is popular really here in Texas, mainly in Houston, Texas. And he's a DJ from the '90s, and he was the originator, the person who coined screwed and chopped music. If you've ever heard of that, it's slow, and they double tap the beat. Anybody that does that type of DJing that's not DJ Screw, in my opinion, it just sounds off and it sounds not as good. You have to listen to the original, and he does mostly not. I would say anywhere from late '80s to late '90s, early 2000s rap. And he has tons of mixtapes on YouTube. He unfortunately had passed away in 2000. But all his stuff has been uploaded from tape to CD and then onto YouTube. And it's great because it's like a 2-hour mixtape that you can throw on and it'll just play. It's not super monetized, so you get really minimal ads on there. And it's just real soothing. It's great stuff. And I'll find rap songs and different like R&B stuff from all over that time period that I had never heard myself personally on those tapes. So it's a great way for me to discover new artists and stuff like that.
Does your genre ever change depending on, like, obviously you said, it depends on the mood, but does your genre ever change depending on like the build you're going for? Like
if
you
it's
have your mindset.
If it's a more complicated build, let's say if I'm going into something I haven't done before or something that I'm still practicing on, I'll usually forego music altogether and put on some sort of a documentary that'll really just take me out of my headspace. The only reason for that is I rage build. Right. If I get mad at what I'm doing, I don't want to associate it with this song that I'm listening to. It could be a song that I originally loved, and now every time I hear it, I'm going to think of that time I was trying to do 3-chord staggered fuse Claptons and everything kept going wrong.
Right. We've got another question here from the wee baby Seamus. What's the hardest chord that you for you to build?
Staggered fuse Claptons right now is still struggling with that. I feel like where everybody else put their effort into staggered fuse Claptons at an early point, I was branching into ribbon wire and trying to do frame staples and Fralians way before I really should have been. And because of that, I just kept on going down one road, never really stepped back to revisit the staggered fuse Claptons until only recently. And I was trying to do like where you have your space wire hooked around your finger and then you're holding your swivel at the same time, which I could kind of get it, but was just having a lot of issues. I've heard good methods about this thing right here. I haven't even used it yet, but I picked up a few of these, like the little clamp that you can be able to put over your stagger wire and hold everything in place. But I've been so nervous to even give it another go. It's just been something I'm like, now I've built it up so big in my head that I almost don't even want to revisit it.
Yeah. See, I use recurve gel with a pair of juggernauts in there.
Yeah, he uses the weighted method.
And I've never gone wrong with it.
Really? Okay.
There is a video somewhere. I just said I was going to help you anyway, so I'll do a live with you and I'll walk you through it. And see, I get to the point where I can do a 6-foot run of one, and then rather than cut it in half, I do another one and just put 2 separates together, and they just lay perfectly each time.
Nice.
Don't get any issues. No, I've gone up to 9 cores. It's the highest I've gone using that method without having an issue.
Wow.
The problem is I can't fucking vape it because it's too bloody big. It doesn't fit in anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was just...
use it as a big giant piece of mesh or something.
Yeah. That's a good fucking shout. I might have to do that. I've
seen it before. I give it a go.
I've got it. So I found it the other day. I've got it up here somewhere. Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, there's the belly.
You leave my belly alone. There you go. Absolutely honking.
Yeah, that's a honker there.
But yeah, I do know what? I really wanted to put it in something, but I don't. God knows what ohms that's going to come out at.
Yeah. So So Jay and I, Jay's actually the one that originally came up with this, but we have this idea that those that can alien can't stagger, and those that can stagger can't alien.
Oh man, that's scary.
Sloan just happens to be the anomaly. That
Even then, he has a harder time doing aliens than he does doing staggers.
I've got to be honest. Everything else, staggers, everything. I can listen to music, but when I'm rapping aliens, no music. I have to pay attention.
That's where the focus has to be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like staggers, I don't pay much attention when doing them at all. So I'll just sit there and just do them. Decors, obviously, no issues. But if it comes to rapping any sort of alien, all music is off. I can still go at speed, but I have to pay attention.
Yeah, man, I'm the exact opposite. When I'm doing, if I'm like 2 or 3 sticks into an alien or Fralien, I'm doing it, but I'm like looking up at my TV for, you know, good amounts of seconds to where you can just kind of feel where everything should line up. But when I'm doing a staggered Fuse Clapton, I'm like, the wire is right here in my face, and I'm going just so slow and reversing and just like feeling the anxiety and the tension build in my chest, you know.
Yep, I know that feeling.
Yeah,
see, I enjoy making aliens more than staggers. So I love the way they look when they lay flat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you get that going and you get that glisten out the corner of your eye, and you know that, because I don't know if you guys get it when you're wrapping them. I always look a little bit behind where I'm wrapping just to keep an eye on where I've gone, and you can always spot out. There's a gap. There's something you can just spot that little bit of dark, and then when you get to in, go, I told you there's a fucking gap there, like where it hasn't just quite laid next to each other. Yeah, see, that's how when I'm wrapping. If the wire's here, I always look sort of here, just as I'm going. So I never look in front. But what's the most core alien you've ever done?
I think a 6 was the one that I nailed and got it to where it came out good. I think I have pictures on my Instagram. It was a 630 gauge with I think 38 gauge view. And I had tried doing them before with like 29 gauge, either 28, tried 29, and finally was like, dude, I need something that's going to be a little bit less beefy and wide. The 30s with the 38 came out really good, like really clean. I wrapped them up. I think it was like a 0.1 ohm dual build, and threw that on a mech mod. And it still just didn't ramp up super quickly. Like once you got it going, the flavor was really good, but the ramp up compared to like a 4-core, a 5-core, or even like a nice 3-core was just not there. And I just kept finding myself like, man, for all the work that I put in for these, this really isn't blowing me away that much.
Right. So just out of curiosity, this just be for me personally, honestly. If anything else on it, this is fantastic. But do you have any tips or tricks of how you got the 6-core 30 gauge? Because look, I can do 4 cores perfectly fine. I added that 5th core on the 30 gauge, everything collapsed.
Starts going down on you. I have
get it to wrap.
I have to keep my what would you call it? Your core holders super duper close, like it insanely close while you're fusing. And you can start scooting it down a little bit further as you go. But as soon as you start to see the even first sign of something starting to squeeze out of place, you got to go back to keeping them just real close together. 4 cores I can leave a nice big gap like I could with a 3-core. 5 and up, I have to keep it just like right up on there.
Okay. I'll have to maybe revisit using some core holders and see if I can get it.
Yeah, this guy don't do the core holders.
I can't get a 5-core wrap, but I can get a 4-core wrap without anything on it.
There you go, Duchess. You have to get your paper clips back out again.
Oh, I have some on my desk.
Either paper clips or the key rings have been the best for me. If you can find key rings that are, let me see if I got them right here. You might not be able to see the difference on camera, but this one over here is more round, where this one has like a flat edge on it.
Right.
And it also has that same flat edge on the inside. So the surface area that it's gripping on there is much wider. And I have a specific set of key rings that I use for like anything that's smaller than a 29 gauge. 29 up to 26, I have a certain key ring that I use. 30 and lower than that, I have one that's just super duper tight on there. It holds real nice and snug. And then you do have to replace them every once in a while, just because using them so often, it will start to bend them a little bit. And they don't hold as tight as they normally would.
Mm-hmm. It wears out the metal and stuff like that from sliding them around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say, in your opinion, was the most underrated coil?
Man, that's a very generic question.
The most underrated, I would say, like either round wire itself or a fused Clapton. Those I don't ever revisit them very often, but every time, like, for myself personally, I make them for people, but for myself, I always go aliens for aliens, something that's whatever, kind of a little bit more exotic, I guess you could say.
Right.
I've gone back and used round wire and fused Clapton since, and I'm like, dang, this isn't that bad. If you took everything away from me and just left me with fused Claptons or round wire, I'd still be a happy camper.
Yeah, it's only because I was talking to Surug before this on his show, and I was saying if you're not fused Claptons are just as good if you're not like looking for the little nuances and that. If you're just an everyday vapor and you want a coil, fused Clapton is just as good for what you're going to get out of it as you are an alien.
Mm-hmm.
But like aliens are but like years ago they were like the top of the top. And now they've just become. Oh, you got aliens. Like the fused Clapton just gets left behind, even though they're
forgotten about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because for the longest time I did multi-core fused Claptons, and I even sent to Adam some, and he's like, I never even thought about doing multi-core fused Claptons because everybody just sticks to the dual core and that's it. And I personally, I like aliens. I vape them a lot, but it does relatively the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I originally took them off my website because I was like, nobody wants fused Claptons, and then I put them back on because people was like, I realised that they are just as good and they sell just as well. And people do want them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, even I've gotten some sales on fused Claptons. Even I was like, really, you want? Like, even I was a little shocked. But I don't.
See, I sell them in packs of 2. But I just do 4 because you can run them out so quickly that if you're selling for £8, you might as well get 2 pairs.
Right.
But what made you go from just building for yourself and probably a couple of mates to actually wanting to go full hog commercial builder?
It was really the influence of a lot of the buddies that I was building for. They were like, man, you should sell your coils. You should do this. And I was like, whatever, I'll do it. I didn't want to go, full on like big time, but I was like, okay, I'll, put on my little bio my bio on my Instagram and in my captions that, hey, DM me if you have any questions or DM for orders. One of the guys that I was working with at the time, he saw that I was just selling them in little, like, small little, whatever, sandwich bags, little small Ziploc bags, and it just had, like, a Sharpie written with the specs on there. And he was like, man, you should get, like, packaging. You should get, little containers and get some stickers and stuff. And I was like, dude, I don't even know where to get that kind of thing. And he was just a little bit pushy about it. He was like, almost, what's the word? Kind of a dick. He was like, well, boom, 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 types in his phone. He's all, look, right there, man. I'll send you the link. There are 50 of them for however much, $4 for 50 containers. And I looked at it and was like, God dang, dude, that's about what I'm paying for these little baggies, and the presentation is going to be a little bit better. After that point, I really fell in love with the whole branding of it. I put little pieces of cotton inside the bottom of the container so the coils would sit on this nice bed of cotton. I think I used even like brand name cotton bacon at the time so that you could use the cotton that came with these coils if you're on the go and you want to throw a new setting, you have everything ready there for you.
That's cool.
Look, I get it. No, containers are expensive now, though.
Yeah, it's like they figured out what was going on and they started just up and
down. I just had to order new containers and they just came in like a week ago or so. And like $8 for like 50 of them when previous to me stop building for a little while. Dude, I could pay that $8 and get a fucking 200 pack. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yep. They figured out it's not makeup that's going in these guys.
Yeah,
They're
it's
doing
not,
coils.
it's not
We gotta
cosmetics.
tax them.
No
So what-
ointments.
So what made you come up with the name Twiztid Timmy?
So there is a rap group that I listen to that comes out of Psychopathic Records. They're the same record company, or I guess the people that created the record company is ICP, Insane Clown Posse. They brought on different groups after they created Psychopathic Records. One of them being Twiztid, spelled the way that I spell my
Yeah, I
name.
remember Twiztid.
Yeah, dude.
I remember Twiztid, bro.
Nice, dude. Yeah, see, so that was one of the things growing up. It was part of my childhood and young adolescence, and it was kind of like an homage to, that whole what would you call it, juggalos and people who have listened to that type of music. I figured a lot more people would have made the connection. But it's every so often people will be like, "Hey, is yours spelled Twiztid because of like the band Twiztid?" And I thought I was going to be getting that every single day, but it's once every 6 months somebody like puts the pieces together on that one.
It's fun because I didn't know that, and trying to find you on fucking Instagram, I'm like, how the fuck are you spelling this? Oh, there's
See,
a
I
D
shot
in there.
myself in the foot with that, didn't I?
It kept kind of
Oh.
like twisted messes, and I was like, that's not who I fucking
It could
want.
be so much worse.
Oh,
It could
man.
be so
I
much
think I
worse.
got to give credit to my girlfriend Jennifer. She was the one who was like, you should call it, Twiztid Timmy's Coils or something along those lines, because a majority of the stuff that I had been doing was, twisted wire that would be twisted frames on a frame staple, or two twisted wires running together, just kind of basic stuff. And so I was just brainstorming on names, and she was like, Twiztid Timmy's Coils. And I was the one who thought, well, we changed the spelling on it to Twiztid the band. But I do got to remember that. So I got to her on that one.
Yeah.
I knew you were listening. She's over there listening. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, man.
I love it. I love
Hey,
it. We
gotta give credit where credit's due.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%. We've got another question in the chat from the wee baby Seamus. So if you could give any advice or your best advice, what could you give to someone who has never built a coil before? And
Best
curious.
advice. Ask help. Ask questions and ask people for help. That was something that I was so afraid to do in the beginning because, one, I didn't want to embarrass myself. I was embarrassed to ask. I didn't want to come across as someone who didn't have this knowledge that I assumed people should just have. Looking back on it in hindsight, I really could have helped myself a lot by just putting some questions out there to people with the issues that I was having, rather than just keep struggling along with it. Even just tips on like what hardware to get, swivels, different drills, lathes, tips on doing decors. There's so many things that like I'll see in comments now, and I'm in so many Facebook groups with people that I'm like, dude, why wasn't I here sooner? Why wasn't I putting myself out there? Like, hey guys, I'm collapsing these 3-cores. The first thing I tried 3-core was the staggered fuse Claptons, and it would just boom, collapse. Tried using paper clips, tried using Legos, and just really couldn't get it until I started using the key rings and figured out what was happening, but figured it out for myself. If I could have just had someone be like, hey man, you need to go tight with a lot of tension, but not too much tension, that would have just helped me so much.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Vito said it right in the chat as far as some advice from someone who was built before. Take your time, have a little bit of patience. Definitely focus on your prep work. Your prep work, honestly, is everything when it comes down to making a successful build. Once you get that down, then just stay focused on what you're doing and keep a positive mindset, because there's definitely those rage builds out there. If you get into your headspace and you're just like, fuck this shit, and you walk away for a couple of days or a couple hours or however long you need, and then you finally decide to come back to it. So definitely prep work and patience for sure.
Don't beat yourself up if you ain't getting it right away. I mean, not everybody can be Duchess, so
yeah. Look, it's a thing. It's a gift. I'm sorry. Follow-up question for you though. So as far as like beginning and stuff, right? For everything you've learned so far that you know of, if you could take that and kind of go back to the beginning, what pieces of knowledge would you take with you to kind of set you up better for success in the future?
First would be get a good swivel, upgrade and get a good swivel immediately from the start. The keyring method, using something to keep your cores together. Let me think. If I could go back and give myself the correct gauges to use when I'm doing aliens and the right amount of stretching, I've always known that if you do like a 36 gauge over a 26 gauge, you can then make that a 3-core alien.
Right.
But it took me a long time to figure out how to do a 4-core alien and what gauge wire to wrap it around, depending on what gauge wires you're using for the 4-core or for the 5-core or for the 6-core and so on and so forth. Because I would do aliens and get them perfect, and then I would try a 4-core and I'm getting this big giant gap all the way down, no matter how loose or how tight I pull on the wire. So just being able to have those measurements out correct, where to stretch it to, how much is an overstretch, or being able to look at the imperfections on an alien wire and seeing where the gap is or seeing where the overwraps happen and being able to know why it's happening. Because that's always the most frustrating part when something is going wrong. If you know what is going wrong, oh, I went too tight and I collapsed the core, that's fine. But when you don't know why an issue keeps arising, that's where the frustration builds from. It's just that anxiety of not knowing if you're going to be able to figure out what is happening.
Right.
Yeah, I just asked Jay. I don't Google shit. I ask him everything. Poor guy.
Yeah,
I had to help him how to turn off his keyboard earlier today.
I got lucky, honestly. Like when it came down to what Drip Theory is calling alien math in the chat. I mean, I have my unofficial mentor, Sammy Nitro. Like if I have questions for building coils, I automatically just go to Sammy.
Yeah,
like 100%. Because I was like, dude, you used to build for fucking Build Armageddon. Of course, I'm going to come to you for questions.
Dude, Sammy is he's a guru, man. Like
Dude,
that
guy
guy
is a monster. I love that.
You ever have
stuff.
questions? He's always polite about it, very dad-like. And
Yeah.
if you're fucking up, he'll let you know too. That's the fun part. He's very dad-like.
See, I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I do think coil builders are a different breed when it comes to like help. I don't know any other, we'll call it an industry, where we all help each other out. If you've got an issue, you can reach out to another coil builder. And I haven't asked a question to a coil builder yet that they won't be like, work it out yourself. Do you know what I mean? They're not gatekeeping.
Nobody gets mad at the competition or anything like that.
No, I do find it's lovely that people are there to help.
I've even hit up M-Turk and Turd, and these guys are like wildly successful at this shit, and they still are willing to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll like walk you through it, and Turd has sent me paragraphs of how to build. It's like, dude, thanks. I was just asking for like a simple question. I didn't need a thesis paper.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked Kent before, and Kent was more than happy to help too. I mean, granted, he's like super fucking wire freak, and he'll give you a whole dissertation and the science behind it. But nonetheless, though, really cool, nice guy, and he's more than happy to explain the process to you.
But have you noticed that as well, Timmy?
What's up?
Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah. Like I've even had people reach out to me directly when I'm, I'll put up a post on a coil that I'm working on and be like, okay, this is my first attempt with, a corrugated, whatever you would call it, a corrugated coil, and Builds by Talion. If you guys recognize the name on Instagram, he's another one of those like Kent. That's just he'll do a staggered fuse Clapton corrugated, but the wire that he's using to fuse everything is another staggered fuse Clapton, and he'll have like micro aliens that fuse certain parts together, like just insane stuff, and he reached out to me directly and kind of gave me tips on the corrugated when you're actually, after you pass the corrugated through whatever you do to get it to corrugate, explain to me if you get tweezers, like eyelash tweezers that are flat. You want to pinch your corrugated together to get it to have more of a sharp bend, I guess. I never, I was done with corrugated at that point. I didn't want to revisit it, but I wrote down all the notes and was just super blown away and thankful that he would even consider, just out of the blue, reaching out to me and being like, "Hey man, here's a tip. Hope that helps."
Yeah, I've never seen it in any other industry.
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, I reached out to, for anyone who knows him, I reached out to Troublesome 4200. Super nice guy, more than happy to help. I mean, for someone who's a professional builder, like, yeah, it's amazing. Like, granted, the entire vape community has been real nice about like sharing information on like helping each other, etc. But when it comes to coil building or mixing itself, like just those two arts, bro, it's on a whole nother level.
Yep.
When it comes to vaping, DIY is really helpful because I mean, even like mods, I've seen people that like it. I remember a while back, some guy actually did a full tutorial on how to take an RX 200S, the one that came with the 3 batteries, and converting it into a squonk mod.
Wow.
And like he had like a full step-by-step with pictures and everything, and he's like, "Here's for everybody. I already got it. Now you guys try. I want to see other people do it." And it's like, wow, like that's insane, dude.
It's really awesome.
So, what do you do? Do you have another job on top of coil building, or are you a full-time coil builder?
I am now a full-time coil builder. For the longest time, for about 5 years, I was working at a vape shop as at first an employee. For the last 3 years, me and Jen were managers there. And then it eventually got to the point where I just had no time for myself. I had, if I was at work, things would start piling up. So by the time I got out of work, I would be up building coils till like 3 a.m, have to be back at work the next day, repeat the process. If I had like a day off coming up or 2 days off in a row, I already knew like, okay, I'm going to have to knock out 20 sticks this day, 20 sticks this day. And it just got maddening. I couldn't handle it, and rather than cut off doing the coil thing, I figured I'd just switch into this full time,
Yeah.
How you finding it now, being a full-time coil builder rather than just doing it on your?
I would say it's nice. It is nice. It's really awesome because I'm doing what I love, right? But there is a certain aspect where it's removed. This was my hobby, This is what I did to get away from stress and to get out of my head and forget about day-to-day life. And I've turned it into day-to-day life. So I've lost that a little bit for it. What I'll do is every once in a while, if I'm, in the midst of knocking out a bunch of coils to have stuff prepped, I'll kind of give myself a little reward where I get to practice a new build that I haven't done before, or, just different specs. Instead of doing a 4-core alien, I'll do, a micro 4-core alien with different gauge outer wire. And it also, I get out of the house as much as I should. Going to work, that was, you got to be up by this time, you got to be here by this time. It was real schedule orientated, and now I find myself just kind of sleeping in longer than I should, staying up even later than I should. So I've been having to really adapt more self-discipline in that matter.
Right. Yeah, I suppose because you're your own boss now. You say,
exactly,
I'll stay up an extra hour, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Jen's in the chat. Hi, Jen. Yeah, she says you take no time off.
Yeah, it's literally no time. And if I give myself time off, I get mad at myself later because I'm realizing all this stuff that I could have and should have gotten done. And I'm like, see, this is what happens when we take time off to watch a movie or go to the pool or play video games or whatever. I'm like, it really, I really do have to work on that and start budgeting or scheduling time that is work time, build time, and scheduling time that is at home, chilling, hanging out, and relaxing with the family time.
Yeah. I think I can't remember what I was talking to about it. It's like, obviously I don't do it full time. I work it around work and family, and I just found that once I went from just doing it for fun to actually like stocking shops, that it just becomes really monotonous, and you sort of lose that fun side of it. So then I ended up stopping, and then I sent you that picture that the corrugated that I tried, because I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm not building for the next couple of hours. I'm going to sit here and have some fun. And it's weird when you do that. You're doing the same thing, but something different. It just reignites that flame. Like, right, let's get back to what we're doing.
It gives the passion. It brings the passion back into it.
Yeah, because obviously you're doing it full time. So what, you're knocking like 60, just say like 60 decors out. By about 20 in, you're a bit like.
Yes.
That's when you just start paying attention to the TV show you're watching instead of doing what you're supposed to.
Yeah, it just sort of it's just trying to keep that flame going, because it's so easily, it can so easily go. I've been through stages. It'll be another next question for you anyway. But when that flame goes and you're just like, do you know what? I don't want to build today, and that sort of that fire burns out, and just trying to kickstart it again. Sometimes for me, it could be 2 days. I'm just like, do you know what? I'm not doing it. Just because you just don't want to, because I build in the garage. So it's just like, I go to the back door and I'm like, do you know what? No, I'm going to relax today. Do you have those days where you just don't want to build?
Yes. Yeah. I get those periodically. If I have, there's days where I don't want to, and I have to. And once I get started and get everything going, it usually, it starts everything up again, and the passion is there. Other times I have to, like I said, I got to promise myself some sort of incentive. Like, if I can get what I need to get done today, I'm going to give myself, an hour or two to be able to practice this new build I'm working on. I'm going to make this specifically for this new setup that I got, and be able to install these coils and this new RDA. But there's definitely days where I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm caught up on everything that I need to be, and I'm just going to hang out today, or we're going to go, whatever, go to the pool or go do something else, just to kind of get a different scenery going.
Yeah, because it's definitely difficult trying to like find the time to build around like daily life when it's not like your day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I took Wednesday off on purpose just to get everything done that I needed to get done. And I know Adam has done the same thing. He's taken time off of work because he's like, bro, I am so slammed with fucking orders right now. And then I've got Expo coming up and X, Y, and Z and blah, blah. And I've got a million things to do and I have no time to do it.
It does catch up with you. And you find, if you think you do like 10, you got to get, say, like 20 pairs done. You get 10, you're like, I'm going to take a break. So you go and chill.
Yeah, because you're real proud of yourself.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours later, you're like, fuck. I got that to do. So then you think, I'll get up an hour earlier than I normally get up, extra early to do it. And then you're in the garage like 3 a.m, like, fuck, I should have done this yesterday. But it is obviously down to discipline. Yeah. Going from that hobby side when you're just doing it for fun, or if you wrap some out for your mates, there's no time schedule. But then when you've got a stock, as you do, stock or your online shop, you need to make sure you're there on time. If you promise that on Monday, it's got to be there on Monday.
Exactly.
You can't be like, Wednesday or maybe Thursday, because I'm guilty of that at the beginning, where I was like, I'm gonna have everything stocked up by Monday. Monday comes and I'm like, I vaped half of it because I wanted to try it, or like a new season of something's come out. Do you know what? I'm just gonna go watch that. I'll do it later, but I'm quite regimented now. I have to be, because if I don't, I'm inherently lazy.
Yeah. So with the builds that you currently offer, right? I've been on your site. I know what you have, but for what you currently offer, do you have anything that's not too secretive that you're possibly going to add soon?
I don't have anything like in the pipeline coming up as of right now. I've brainstormed on a few different things, and what keeps happening is like the 6-core aliens, for example. Those are the ones that I was like, oh, after I built them and was able to get them down and they came out so clean, I was like, okay, I think we're getting in the right direction where we can get these added to the site available. once I vaped them and used them myself personally on like a mod, I probably should try it on a regulated, but a lot of the people that I've catered to since the beginning are mechanical mod users, single tube mech mod. And the performance that I got out of them was so underwhelming that I was like, crap, dude, I don't want to put these out there and then hype them up like they're going to be, you know, this awesome thing. And then people get them and they're just underwhelmed by the performance. I had done a micro 4-core alien that was 4 32 gauge core with 40 gauge fuse wire. I just posted the picture up on my Instagram, I think yesterday. Those ones I was excited. Oh man, these could be a new micro line. I popped them in like I think the wick fridge, the V2, and on my billet box, and went to go vape it, and there was such minimal amount of crackle. Like the performance, the flavor, I got good vapor, everything was good there, but the crackle compared to like my micro, it was so underwhelming. Just like, God, I really don't know if these could, you know, be a good contender to add on the website as well.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I did have a mooch through your website quite a few times, and you do offer a hell of variety.
It's a lot.
It's a large variety of coils, which I found it really nice that you sort of they say variety is the spice of life, but giving people not just like you can either have 26 or a 27 alien. You've got like, oh, actually, this is all I offer. If you want any of this, there's going to be something there for you. No matter how picky you are, you always offer to certain people. The question is, like, I've gone down now the MTL route because I've been asked for MTL. I cannot vape MTL. I can't get the mechanics down. I started trying to suck a golf ball for a garden hose. And I'm like, I'm trying to vape it at 50. I was like, mate, this isn't working.
It's like a milkshake when you want soda.
Yeah, I ended up finding people to send out as testers that I know they're just true MTLs, vapors. And like, guys, I don't know if this is good or not. Can you try it out? Do you, are you similar along that, right? Or do you vape everything and test everything yourself? Or do you have people that you sort of go, try this, but keep it on a hush-hush type job?
I do that. So I vape them first myself just to see, all right, is this worth sending out to see what other people think? If I think the performance is up to date, because I do vape everything. I vape, series stacked mods or series boxes, tube mods, regulated, MTL, or like, smaller setups, restricted direct lung setups. I've even used like triple series, the rule breaker, triple series mod with just a big giant, like 40 millimeter RTA on there. And just, I've tried everything because I'll see people using it and I'm like, oh man, I got to try it now, since I can just build the coils for it. So that helps, and I'll pick it up, try it out, and inadvertently, post it on my Instagram. Usually I'll get a couple people asking for it. If I get enough people asking for it, I will put it on the website. Only recently though that I start sending out, pre-release samples to specific people. Usually buddies and stuff like that, but every once in a while I'll find someone that like that's their niche is billet box, or they're always using series devices. I'll send specific ones to them. Like you said, kind of keep it on the low. Let me know what you think on the performance, like truly and honestly. You're not going to hurt my feelings if it sucks.
Yeah.
If you love it, just be honest with me. And I did that with the Top Flights Micro Alien specifically, which right now is one of my bigger, more popular builds. And when I did that, I sent out two different ones. One was the micro core that was like a 330 or 431 gauge with 38 gauge fused. Those were going to be dubbed like the jumping jacks, I think was the name that I came out for those. And then the regular 3-core micro alien was the Top Flights. And to me, they were neck and neck, but I sent them out to a bunch of different people and told them to let me know what you think on both of them. And surprisingly, a majority of the people were like, dude, the 3-core are the shit. They're like, the 4-core is still good. They're still great. These 3-core, they're really, truly awesome. And ended up going with those over the 4-core on that one.
Yeah, because I do think getting other people's opinions is always good, but I found it was very much you had to find someone that's just going to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah,
that's very true.
That I found I did try it once. I haven't tried it since, but just because it was actually for the MTLs that I had on there. But because I'm the same, I can't vape MTL. Like, no, the MTL. I can do restricted direct lung, but I can't do MTL. Like,
Yeah.
restricted direct lung is where I draw the line. But the problem that I had with it is that I sent out 3 or 4 packages to people and was like, yo, hey, let me know what you guys honestly think about these and everything else, and then like had to like follow up with these people or like remind them and whatever else, because you never got a messenger back and you're just like, hey, it's been about 2 months, so what did you think about this? They're like, oh shit, dude, I'm so sorry.
I was enjoying them so much, I forgot to even say anything.
I got to be honest, at the beginning when I was doing, I done it with every coil that I did. I had like 6 people that I knew, but the problem is they ended up, they were mates, and they wouldn't turn around and say, "Ads, that's shit." You know what I mean? And everything was awesome, so I had to make sure I'd pick the dickheads out of the group and go, right, you're getting it because you're going to tell me that they're horrendous.
Yeah.
But I do think it's good getting other people's opinions. It's like when we started Codename Wired, until these two sent me their coils, I've never tried any other coil builders' coils.
I remember you telling me that.
I've only ever vaped my own. And vaping other people's coils made me think that it makes you realize that even though it's the same coil, same parameters, same methods, they all taste different. They all perform differently as well.
Yeah, everyone's got their own like style of the way that they do things.
Yeah.
And it becomes apparent when you use someone else's stuff, whether they're using any one of our 4 or they're using Drip Theory or Coil Clout or anybody like that. Like, because every builder does something slightly different, even though the method is all exactly the same, you can taste how that builder put things together.
Mm-hmm.
Drip Theory saying 5 and 6 cores are definitely better on a parallel or regulated mod. So are you a majority mech user? Regulated?
I would say up until about like late 2020 is when I think I got my first billet box, and that really opened up a whole new world of regulated devices for me. Before that, I was only using my regulated devices to dry fire coils to get them burning, even before transferring over them onto the mechanical mods. And that's all I was using was tube mods and like series box mods and stuff like that. I had really left regulated in the past. I still had a couple that were, on the shelf, but rarely used them. But once, I got my first billet box, and right around then is when the beginning of this new wave of AIOs was starting to pick up. Shortly after that, I think the Pulse AIO was coming out. There was just so many more affordable choices to get. Like I think the first one I ever got was a Dot AIO. And that thing was all right, but I don't know if y'all have ever used the original Dot AIO.
I was not a fan.
I have one.
Trying to build between a 0.3 and a 0.5, and if it's below a 0.3, it won't fire. If it's above a 0.5, you can't put it above 20 watts, and it was just really governed. It was really like, this is how it has to be to get good.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. It wasn't sticking yet. And then once I got the billet box and was able to adjust my wattage accordingly for whatever ohm coil that I was putting in there, I just started falling down the rabbit hole, man, as they say. And it didn't help that right around then there was just that huge wave of new people coming out with accessories, panels, new companies releasing, RDAs and RDAs for the billet box that were just much more affordable. You can get stuff for like, $60 to $80 instead of having to spend $150 for an RDA. I remember getting like panels from Mums. They were like, it was like $80 for a set of panels. Now I can get a set of panels for like $40 to $60 that are still great quality. They may not come with the same clout or reputation that Mums does, but they're still great, good quality. And yeah, I'm still in it. I'm still down that rabbit hole. Let me grab my other setups that I have in rotation right now. It's going to be, I have 3 billet boxes right there in rotation. And then the only other device, not a Foro device, I guess you could say, is going to be the Vorty like series dual 21700, and that has the fatality RTA on there. And that's been right now has been my only non-foil setup that I've run, and I really just have been using that for if I'm busy doing stuff with my hands and I only have a second to pick up and hit it once or twice before I got to get back to what I'm doing. That's what I'll have on the table.
Yeah. See, I was impressed of how cheap bridges have got. So you got like the Molan bridge, which is like 25 quid, which I don't think you'd ever have found any sort of bridge at that price before. Like the Pulse and that came out, all these companies that mass produce shit, it's just coming out with the price is just dropping massively on everything.
Yeah, they are. I was a big naysayer for a long time when it came to that stuff. Like Jay's smiling over here because he knows.
Oh, dude. I know, and here's the thing. Like, I gave you
was just
shit
like,
mostly
fuck
because you gave me
like,
shit.
Bridges are stupid. And then I fucking finally got a bridge and I was like, holy shit, I see the light.
But the thing is, I agree with you though. I mean, I remember when billet boxes first came on the scene and I saw like $300 for a mod, and I was like, that is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, I'm not spending that. And I technically own 2 authentic billet boxes at this point. So, you know, but you know, I also have really cool friends that are do really good pricing on the resale. So, but yeah, the AIO thing, it's taken off really hard. Like pod systems were never my thing. I have a few. I use them mostly for when I go longboarding because I know if I break them, if I fall on my ass and I break them, it's not that big a loss for me. But beyond that, you know, it's just there's so much other stuff that, like you were saying. I mean, even what is it? I found Fast Tech. They have like one of those 5A companies came out with their own mech boro. So like they're even starting to get into like their own systems instead of just making clones of stuff. They're even coming out with their own products, and it's like $30 for a mech clone or for an authentic clone or mech boro. And it's just like it's insane how much shit there is out there now.
It's flooded. It's really hard to. At a certain point, I had to draw the line because I was just jumping on everything that I could get my hands on. If y'all have seen the Boodall mech boros before, they're one of the first ones to come out. Let me grab mine real quick because this thing has been awesome. It's super tiny. It uses an 18650, but it's pretty much the same type of design you'll see from a lot of these companies. And this was on the Billy website, and I got on there for like what is it called? Clickies, like the wattage adjustments, get a different color wattage adjustments. I was like, oh, I'll go spend $12 and get some new stuff and, you know, scratch this itch real quick, and came across this thing for like, no joke, I think like $400. And I just impulse bought it. Boom, pulled the trigger. And I really love it. I'm glad I got it, but it made me realize what was starting to happen. I was starting to get like almost, what would you call it? I guess addicted to the buying of new Boro devices. And I was like, dude, I can't keep buying anything new that hits the scene. So I drew the line. And since then, it's just been like so many things coming out. And I'm realizing like, dude, I would have gone broke trying to keep up with this.
Oh yeah, because I mean, what Hussars come out with their own thing. There's like 3 other regulated mods that have come out in the last 2-3 months, and it's no. I'm with you though. I had to draw the line at some point, and like Adam here knows how bad it's gotten for me. Like I have I don't know if you heard the Harpy mech. I have one of those.
Nice.
Yeah, the Boro I have one of those.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're like a French company, and they did like a short run. They did like a V2, which was supposed to be 21700, but I have not seen any in the wild, so I don't know. Or V3 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, because the V2 is the one I've got.
The V2 is the ones we have.
That's such a nice device.
There's so much stuff out there, though.
But you've got.
Is that a Voodoo Doll Susie?
What's up?
The mod that you have? Is that a Voodoo
Doll? Yeah, that's the Susie right there.
Yeah.
I think they also have one that's the Annabelle, which I haven't looked at it closely. I think that one might be their 21700, and it's a lot more affordable. I think it was like
it's an 18650, and it has an open back. I've seen a couple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing those, and I was like, 160. I should have gone with that. Like, god damn it.
But am I right in thinking you have your own branded bridges?
Yes, the Kirch. So it's like I guess you'd call it a collab with Susco. And I've seen a bunch of them. I have the original Kirch. I got the TVS Kirch, which is the vape spot, with Dave Durley, and he came out with his own, branded Kirch. And I was like, man, that would be pretty cool. I had one of Dylan, which is the guy who runs Susco, one of his really good friends, Drew DeHart, reached out to me and was like, hey man, if you want to make, Twiztid Timmy Boros, like the Twiztid Timmy RBA, that would be a Kirch, that could definitely happen. You should just reach out to him. And it goes back to that thing of like, just ask questions, just reach out and see what the answer is. The worst you're going to get is a no. And so I took a shot and reached out to him, and the MOQ was real low on it. I didn't have to, just drop an insane amount of capital on this item. So I went ahead and did it.
So can people in chat still purchase a Twiztid Timmy Kirch anyway?
Yes. Yeah, they're still available. We're very low on the black. I think we have a pretty good amount of silver still left in stock. Usually people go for the black over the stainless steel majority of the time.
That Kirch is so good, bro.
Yes.
Dude, that Kirch Plus is so good.
Yeah. Have you tried duals? Have you tried dual coils in your Kirch?
No, not yet. I have a single 27 3mm in there though.
Nice. I've tried duals one time, and I threw that actually on a mech boro. The ohm came out to I think a 0.2 dual, and threw that on a mech boro that was already super airy, just because the two coils really restrict the airflow a lot. But when I threw it on a mech boro that already had a boatload of airflow, it worked out pretty good. I eventually, I think, went back to the single though. I felt like I was just getting better performance off the single.
Yeah, because I've got this Kirch in my Susie.
Nice.
So I see you've also got a couple of other. You got a mod, haven't you? A Twiztid Timmy's mod that people can purchase.
Yeah.
Yes, they're the mech boy. That's Voorhees is the guy who does them. It's the same guy who does the aluminum enclosures. He does 3D printed mods, and so he has done for me the parallel, where it's a dual parallel mechanical box, as well as the mechanical boro device.
So you can get that over at Twiztid Timmy's Coils.com.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yep. I was trying to get you to say it.
Oh, Twiztid Timmy's Coils.shop. If you just Twiztid Timmy's Coils on Google, it should be the first thing that pops up.
Cool. So have you done any other collaborations with anyone else?
I have done one with what is the name? Knockworks pouches, and they do similar to like the Desh pouches. It's just like a mod pouch. I did a collaboration with them where I brought in their original designs as well as our own, logo. Hey, perfect. There we go. Bam, that's them right there. This is like the negative rendition where it's, instead of the original colors, it's the negative colors. It's got a little flying saucer on the back, and then aliens have landed up here at the top. Twiztid Timmy's Coils at the bottom, and then Knockworks brand is on the opposite side there. When we got them in though, so they're perfect for like if you got a Susie or something like that, they're perfect size for that, fits right in. Or if you're using like a tube mech, Jen has hers and so like her little clutch mech mod with the RTA on top, that fits right in there perfectly. But they're kind of on the snug side if you're trying to run a billet box, especially if you're running a billet box with aftermarket panels that are a little bit wider. It's almost too snug of a fit, and so every time you're going to take it out to vape it, you got to like wiggle it out of there. But I still really love the design. It's just the tightness on them is the only thing that kind of was a drawback for me.
So did you do all the artwork yourself, or did
the Aliens Have Landed design was done by a designer. It was the same people that my label company that I work with is Lightning Labels, and they've done labels for me for years. They always have like a different designer that they can refer me to. This one, I think his name was Douglas Potter, I want to say was the name of the designer. And I reached out to him if he could do a separate design, but not done with stickers. Just send me the file, and then I can reuse that on build mats and reuse that on pouches and stuff, T-shirts, if I wanted to. And we did the design, got everything sent over to me. It wasn't until I got the pricing on it that I was kind of a little bit like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It was I don't even want to say, it was like $750 for that design.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've tried talking with him a little bit if we can lower that price down, and I'm waiting to get word back from him. He's super long on his response time, but I let him know, like, hey man, I would not have jumped into this knowing that the design was going to cost that much. I wish I would have gotten a price quote beforehand. I was like, if that's what it is, that's what I'll have to pay. But is there any way you can work with me and bring that down to a little bit more of a comfortable, level? Because I'm not at the level where I'm using that design to make, hundreds of t-shirts and all these different, different things with it that's going to make that type of money back super quickly, at least. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them, but it's looking like I might have to drop $750 on that design. So I hope everybody loves the Aliens Have Landed stickers and build mats and stuff in the pouches.
I thought
everybody go out and buy everything. Just make him out of stock so he can at least make his money back.
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah, I thought it was a real cool design, honestly.
Thank you.
It is really good.
To be honest, though, I'm glad that you were real honest with us and like upfront, because I kind of like hearing things like that, especially when it's live on like a show or anything like that, just because it brings so much light to the things that happen behind the scenes that most people don't understand what time and effort and money go into us being able to actually like do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like how we like quantify the price that we actually have to charge people for coils, because it's like we have to take into consideration all these things. Like I have to buy labels, I have to buy containers, I need merchant, or I need marketing merchandise, I need XYZ, etc. And it all goes back into the company. We don't actually really make too much off of it. It goes back to spending it on wire and labels and shit.
I think I was saying to Duchess, was it Friday, that because obviously I'm going to Expo, I've ended up pretty much maxing out a credit card, just getting marketing stuff. Buying like 10 times much more wire than I need and bottles and everything else that goes with it. It's not a cheap business to run, and we're not in it really for the money, but it does help. But you have to have that capital up front to start to start pushing it out there to people.
Yeah, so by the time I fully get everything like set back up and ready to go, because I mean I've got like the main ones that I typically do, right? That's all taken care of. All of those are built. I actually got way more than I planned on building, but I still got a couple of things to do. Plus, I'm adding things to the menu to branch out a little bit. So by the time I'm done with things, to be completely honest and transparent, I'm probably going to end up spending at least a good $900 on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said I was just over 900 to get everything in place. Yeah, we've been going pretty much an hour and a half.
Yeah, I just saw the time. I was like, God dang, that flew by.
Yeah, it really does.
So we'll have to get you back on to finish for part 2, because there's still probably a plethora of questions.
I'd be glad to come on for a part 2.
Good man. That's what we like to hear. So I think we better start wrapping shit up. People have got stuff to do. It's midnight here.
Oh,
so
wow.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, and it's 7:00 Eastern.
So before we start wrapping up, Timmy, if you want to start plugging everything for yourself, where can we find you? Where are you? What do you do? Well, we know what you do, but
I get mainly Instagram. That's where I put most of my stuff up. Check me out on Instagram. It's just Twiztid Timmy's Coils. I have a backup account, or you could call it the official account. It's called Twiztid Timmy's Official. I really just have that one just in case the main one gets deleted. I've seen people who have gotten up to just huge growing their social medias and their accounts get deleted for whatever reason. So I created that one just as a backup, but I still do post on there pretty frequently. Facebook, you can find me, it's just Timothy Marshall, or you can look up the page. We have Twiztid Timmy's Coils Facebook page. We also have a Twiztid Timmy's Coils group, where if you want to just really get to know other people who use the coils, ask questions about, get what coil to get for what device. It's a nice place to just be able to share who you are, and we're a lot more open, I guess, on there, and not so professional, I guess you could say. And for any purchasing or anything like that, would just be the website twistedtimmyscoils.shop. And then on there we have Jennifer runs most of everything on there. If you're asking questions, she'll get the questions on there, refer it to me while I'm just busting ass on the table, and you can answer the questions through that way.
Cool. Well, for us lot, it's all running across the bottom. But before we go, special shout out to our sponsor, Mr. Anthony Romella. Duchess, do you want to do your speech?
Oh, you mean about the Shake and Bake Media, that one place where it's your one-stop shop for all things multimedia? If you do need anything multimedia related, whether you're looking for a still frame, you need an intro, anything like that, go ahead and hit up Shake and Bake Media. That's at Shake and Bake Media over on IG, or you can head over to shakeandbakemedia.com. You can also go follow the creator and our main man, the sponsor of our show, our wonderful Anthony Romella. He's a hell of a fella. Now over on IG, that's I'm_Anthony Romella over on IG. Also, you might be able to ask him for some glasses. He might be able to hook you up. Who knows? just kidding. But yeah, go show him some love, because he shows all of us some love. He's the guy behind all of the intros for all of the shows that we watch, behind mixing it up, this show, the green rooms, across the pond, etc. So much love to Anthony and Shake and Bake Media. We absolutely appreciate everything that you do for us.
Cool. Well, come to that time. So thank you everyone in chat for stopping by. It's been an awesome show. You guys in chat have been nothing but amazing. # Blue Tops Tuesdays from Robert Jolly. So until 2 weeks' time, be nice to each other and don't be a dick. See you later. Bye.
And make sure you vape like royalty.